Kingdra fires off the Swift, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and we send out Raikou with a magical 2-to-no shield advantage. Back out comes Typhlosion. Typhlosion gonna fire off the Thunder Punch bait, but unfortunately for Typhlosion, no bait is ever saving their fate from the wrath of Raikou. Raikou unleashes the Wild Charge. Wild Charge picks up the one-hit KO. Primarina re-enters the arena. We're already at Wild Charge number 2, and that is gonna be all she wrote. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got an absolute banger of a battle submission from MisterAlgorithm. This highly talented trainer has sent me numerous battle submissions this season, and it's about time I got my shit together and featured one on the channel. Today we've got a mythical plus legendary backline, ABB weak to ground. Both these Pokemon gained access to Aura Spear. I think it's safe to say none of us expected Aura Spear to become as good a move as it did. 40 energy for 80 damage. It's actually a clone of the more commonly seen move Hydro Cannon, and we all know just how bloody annoying and how hard that move hits. Leading the line for us today is going to be Shadow Kingdra. I'm really interested to see how these battles go, so I'm going to keep the intro short and sweet. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game 1, MisterAlgorithm leads Kingdra into Unova Stunfisk, aka the Pancake, and this is exactly where the team wants to see it. The opponent saves switch into Togekiss, and here comes Jirachi. Much like us, Togekiss has got access to Aura Spear, which does give the ability for the opponent to hit back for neutral damage in this matchup. However, the Pecks are resisted, and it looks like Jirachi easily tanks too. Jirachi looks to fire off the Doom Desire that will be removing Togekiss from the field of play. Oh, that is a beautiful undercharge. We actually undercharge the move, get off one Confusion, take 2 further Pecks, minimising the farm for this Stunfisk, and I like this play a lot. As Kingdra, not really going to appreciate any charge moves, although in fairness, this thing does hit like a wet noodle, but that was very optimal play there. Back out comes Kingdra. Kingdra going to tank the Discharge, and that is definitely the wrong move to throw in this matchup. Both Mud Bomb and Discharge are going to hit for neutral due to our Dragon Water type in, so Mud Bomb would be more energy efficient. Both trainers still hanging on to 2 protections, but despite this, we are YOLOing the outrage. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get that Pancake off my screen. We see the simultaneous swap with Raikou into Ninetales. This looks like game over already. Raikou and Ninetales are going to pace at the same speed to these charge moves, but Raikou has the higher attack, meaning in the 2 shield, we're always winning. We farm up, throw the Aura Spear bait, but in reality, that's not a bait. The opponent kind of obliged to touch shield and everything. MisterAlgorithm burns the final Protect Shield. We can farm up to the double charge moves, you know the drill. 1 to force the Protect Shield and 1 to knock Ninetales out. We fire off the Aura Spear. Aura Spear forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We even make the catch. Was it necessary? Probably not, but it's super entertaining stuff. We re-enter the arena with that Wild Charge banked, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. A very nice battle number 1. Heading into the next battle. We see a type neutral matchup with Shadow Kingdra staring down Cradily. This one is the Bullet Seed variant, meaning Cradily has quite a heavy pacing advantage in this matchup. The opponent going to fire off the Rock Tomb, forcing a very annoying debuff on Kingdra's attack. MisterAlgorithm, undeterred, banks all of that energy, resets the debuff, catches the resisted Rock Tomb onto Jirachi, and we even sneak an entire free Confusion in the process. As nice as that play was, unfortunately we're hard punished by Jellicent. Both Doom Desire and Aura Spear are actually clones of each other. They're both 40 energy for 80 damage. However, in this matchup specifically, Doom Desire is only single resisted, Aura Spear double resisted, but in all type neutral matchups, meaning if both your charges are neutral, you should always throw the Doom Desires. You would get same type attack bonus, meaning it would do more. MisterAlgorithm opts to send out Raikou, and I'm a massive fan of this play. We're already completely loaded on Kingdra, so why not load up an energy on Raikou too? Raikou shields up the surf, heavily over farms, fires off the Wild Charge removes Jellicent from the field of play. Back out comes Cradily. Potentially the opponent doesn't know, we've now got access to Aura Spear. Aura Spear, unfortunately forced to Protect Shield. Oh my gosh, what a play that is. This is a CMP sack swap. So able to fire off the Outrage on the charge attack priority, not only forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, but also depleting their energy too. Back out comes Raikou, looking to put the team on its back. Out comes Ninetales. MisterAlgorithm, smelling blood in the water. Raikou, going to invest the final Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Weather Ball. We undertap the Aura Spear. I think Aura Spear into a Wild Charge should knock out. That is definitely Wild Charge range. We farm up, throw on CMP, maximising our energy. Wild Charge is going to be the end of Ninetales' appearance in this battle. Back out comes Cradily, 1 Thundershock, and the next Aura Spear is reached. MisterAlgorithm and Raikou absolutely popping off, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see our third consecutive grass type in the lead position. However, despite Kingdra being a water type, we are a sub-dragon type in, meaning these grass type attacks only hit for neutral, but Leaf Blade does a lot of neutral damage at that. Kingdra gonna YOLO the Outrage, guaranteeing a shield or big damage. Outrage, force to protect shield, we then farm up, attempt the Leaf Blade catch onto Jirachi, catch attempt unsuccessful. Opponent sees us coming in, gonna fire off the Sacred Sword, force some chip and dip action before sending out Swampert. Swampert instantly greeted with the Aura Spear, and this is definitely a matchup that's been greatly improved this season for Jirachi. The confusions that do chunk and are now quite quick to these neutral Aura Spears too. MisterAlgorithm going to invest to protect shield, block up the Hydro Cannon, return fire with yet another Aura Spear. This Aura Spear won't be lethal, but will get the opponent low. We then pivot into Kingdra. Kingdra able to snipe down the remaining HP and get yet more energy together. Back out comes Virizion. Once again, MisterAlgorithm's counts are absolutely on point, trapping the opponent into the CMP side. They do not win. Swift isn't lethal, but once again does deplete the opponent of their energy. Kingdra leaves this Virizion in perfect resisted. Thundershock farm down range. The opponent not wish to concede a farm down. Send out Tentacle. Oh my gosh, someone call 911. We are about to witness a stone cold daylight murder. We shield up the Sludge Wave. The opponent full YOLO the nuke, thinking that's potentially their only win con. We throw the Wild Charge. Wild Charge absolutely one-shots Tentacle, vanquishes it back to its Pokeball, and the opponent concedes the match. Heading into the next battle, we see a battle of water types. Slightly positive for Empoleon, as they do have the ability to hit for neutral with the Drill Pecks, whereas Kingdra is fully walled. Kingdra tanks the Drill Peck. MisterAlgorithm farms up, makes yet another savage catch, catching the Drill Peck onto Jirachi, where it isn't going to do much of anything. Looks like the opponent's happy to stay in. Fire off the Hydro Cannon. I'm anticipating the opponent trying to catch the Aura Spear onto something that does resist fighting. MisterAlgorithm over farms. No catch attempt is made. Aura Spear will be landing on its intended target. Down goes the Steel Penguin. Out comes Drapion. MisterAlgorithm able to reach the part in Doom Desire. As I said previously, both moves are neutral. Doom Desire will do more, and Doom Desire instantly puts this thing below the half health range. Jirachi's health bar simply not budging. We've been insanely low since Drapion come in, but the opponent forced up energy or would reach another charge move. We send out Kingdra. Kingdra going to correctly shield up the crunch. Kingdra's at like 100 energy. Is the opponent going to invest in Drapion, or are they going to save 2 shield for whatever's in the back? The opponent says, I'm 2 shield in Charizard. However, I think we're going to reach 2 Swifts. Charizard, insanely glassy. The first Swift forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. Kingdra taps the next Swift. Is the opponent going to tank this move? Yes, they are, but they're now going to die to the Thunder Shocks. The opponent recognises it, and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see a commanding lead as Kingdra stares down Typhlosion. The opponent attempts to catch onto Zygarde, and this certainly works for us. Kingdra just going to YOLO the Outrage. I'm loving MisterAlgorithm's play pattern. YOLO then big Hail Mary nukes, guarantees some damage or force protect shields. Looks like MisterAlgorithm trying his luck at catching Outrage. Oof! What a savage. MisterAlgorithm absolutely running rings around these opponents here. Jirachi fires off the Doom Desire. Man, Zygarde's thick. That didn't do much of anything. What's the chance of this opponent's running twin nukes? Holy shit. There's the Earthquake right on cue. What a rollercoaster mid-game matchup that was. But as the opponent's on twin nukes, Kingdra is going to get a massive Dragon Breath farm down once again, maxing out at 100 energy. Out comes Primarina. Kingdra fires off the Swift. Swift forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and this is already game over. Raikou, smelling blood in the water, going to shield up the opponent's Thunder Punch bait. But no bait is ever saving this Typhlosion's fate. Raikou overfarms, fires off the Wild Charge. Wild Charge going to be vanquishing Typhlosion back to its Pokeball. Primarina re-enters the arena and is very quickly about to meet the same fate. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see another trainer of culture running their own Jirachi. This is such a bad matchup for Kingdra. We're fully walled. We farm up, make the catch the Aura Spear onto the mirror. When are you ever going to see 2 Jirachis facing off against each other in the Ultra League? I love Season 24, man. The meta has been completely shaken up, and I am all for it. The opponent answers our Jirachi save switch with Greninja. Greninja fires off the Night Slash. We withstand the damage. Fire off the Aura Spear. Aura Spear forces the opponent's first Protect Shield, but the opponent does get a very nice Water Shriek and farm down afterwards. We send back out Kingdra. Look to fire off the Outrage, but unfortunately, End up throwing on a CMP tie that we do lose. Greninja is very, very attack weighted. Undeterred, Kingdra lands the outrage. We then see the pivot into Raikou, and Raikou is going to be tasked with doing the heavy lifting. Holy man, this is almost a mirror team. The only difference being we've got Raikou and they've got Greninja. Raikou not messing around, going to YOLO the wild charge as the opponent respect the damage. Oh, it doesn't quite do enough. However, in hindsight, I think that's better for us. Okay, can we still win this game? We need the opponent to shield. This is a wild charge trainer. Step 1, force to protect shield. Step 2, reset that debuff. No, why is the opponent throwing? Trainer, why are you throwing? Have they thrown the battle? Jirachi's bulk about to be put to the test. Jirachi, you sir, might be thick, but are you thick enough? Wild charge! Bang! There it is. What a game. GG's. Oof, in the next battle, we see Rhyperior in the lead position. The opponent say switch into a Confusion Cresselia. We take the opportunity to bank some energy before sending out Jirachi. In this battle of Confusion users, Jirachi very much favoured. We've got the ability to hit the neutral with the Doom Desires, whereas regardless, whatever moveset Cresselia's on, they're fully walled. Grass Knot, Moonblast, Future Sight, all going to be resisted, and even if this trainer's an absolute mad lad running an Aurora Beam, which might I add is literally the worst charge move in the entire game history. Or maybe Flame Wheel was before it was buffed. But regardless, I'll get to the point eventually. It's a shit move. It's also resisted due to our sub-steel typing. Jirachi heavily overfarmed. Fires off the Doom Desire. Doom Desire will remove Cresselia from the field of play. Back out comes Rhyperior. Oh my days, they're on SmackDown. Trainer, you're going to have a tough time farming us down. Doom Desire forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. Jirachi going to fire off yet another Doom Desire. Doom Desire forces the opponent all shields down. Eventually, the opponent does get that full SmackDown farm down. Kingdra re-enters the arena. Reaches the Outrage. Outrage. Oof, this opponent's in shambles. Oof, Shadow Mewtwo. What the heck is going on here? Mewtwo's going to make a very brief cameo appearance. Wild Charge, Shadow and Shadow Crime. Massive overkill. Get that Mewtwo back to the Master League. And we take that game. Shout out the last opponent, running a very spicy team. In the next battle, the irony of this featured trainer who's called MisterAlgorithm being algorithmed himself on the wrong side of a very RPS matchup to thus point in the battle. Although in fairness, these Aura Spears are no joke. Raikou making this zero shield matchup super close, but unfortunately unable to flip this mid-game matchup. Not only have I been super impressed with how MisterAlgorithm is playing with his game mechanics etc. so far, I was actually thinking to myself, would have a resisted Wild Charge there do more damage? It does not. Aura Spear did 38%, whereas a resisted Wild Charge, which is a very busted move, with same type attack bonus, being single resisted, would have only actually done 36%. That is fantastic knowledge. MisterAlgorithm trying to dig himself out of a dire spot. The opponent only throw the Brutal Swing, but in fairness, that did a lot of damage. Jirachi fires off the Doom Desire. Doom Desire forces the Protect Shield. The opponent continued to stay in. What's in the back? Is it like a fighter or something? Whatever's in the back certainly does not want to see this Jirachi. Weezing continues to stay in. The opponent ends up throwing on alignments. If you're using a 2-turn move into a 4-turn move, it is nice and simple. Just throw an odd number, not an even number like this opponent did. Out comes Lapras. Lapras literally applying zero fast move pressure. These sideways are double resisted. The Psychic resists itself, as does Steel. Able to fire off yet another Aura Spear. We attempt to catch onto Kingdra. Catch attempt unsuccessful. But Kingdra more than content to tank any one move. The opponent throw the Ice Beam. Kingdra shrugs off the damage, reaches the Outrage. And somehow, despite hard losing league and hard punish on the save switch, MisterAlgorithm's win streak remains intact. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Kingdra into Charizard. The opponent instantly retreat into Malamar, potentially meaning they're opting for Ember as opposed to Dragon Breath. Malamar continuing to farm up. MisterAlgorithm once again YOLO's the Outrage. Oh my god. The opponent looked to call the bait, essentially fucked about. They found out, and Malamar near gets one shot. The opponent fire off the Foul Play. Foul Play doesn't get the job done. It looks like that we're more than content to fully sack our Kingdra and look to send out Raikou and start loading up an energy. Raikou gets a very nice Thunder Shock farm down. No. Trainer, why? Why would you send Charizard into a loaded Raikou? Raikou fires off the Aura Spear bait, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. This is like an Air Cutter bait, but we're ahead and the opponent is never catching up. The opponent does go for the Air Cutter bait, but this Charizard is still going to get one shot. To be honest, they're even in Aura Spear range now. These Thunder Shots are doing crazy damage. We correctly shot at the Blast Burn. Farm up to the double Aura Spear. The opponent's shield once. They're getting knocked out regardless. Aura Spear removes Charizard from the field of play. Out comes the Steel Penguin. And you can already send this Penguin back to the Shadow Realm. The first Wild Charge will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The second one going to be massive overkill with Raikou sweeping the entire team. GG's and thanks for playing. Jirachi getting a well-deserved rest on the bench. I love how all three team members today are more than pulling their weight. In the next battle, we see Kingdra into the hot air balloon. The opponent spam the Icy Wind as soon as they get it, which only hits for neutral. I imagine we're going to tank this and look to YOLO some outrages. We haven't seen MisterAlgorithm bait to this point in the video, and I think a swift bait here is kind of suicide. If the opponent call it, it's going to do absolutely nothing as it is double resisted. Drifloon attempts an Astonish farm down, unsuccessful. That might be a decision they live to regret. Outrage! Oh, doesn't quite get the job done. The opponent left on fractional HP. We send out Raikou. Leaving them this low is kind of unfortunate, meaning we only get off one Thunder Shock. We look to instantly reset their debuff, sending out Jirachi, and Jirachi kind of core breaks this opponent. They've got access to Dynamic Punch, but a Stab Doom Desire is going to do more, but these Dynamic Punches do come thick and fast. Mewtwo also buffed, as of course we're both using Confusion that now generates more energy. Huh? Why? Why would you throw Side Strike? That is double resisted, trainer. There you go, buddy. There's the neutral move. Honestly, it's got to be like some kind of ongoing joke at this point. People only send me battle submissions where they know I'm going to be very bamboozled by what's occurring. MisterAlgorithm looking for the one shield. Resisted. Confusion farm down. We might be low, but the opponent is never, ever acid farming us down as they are double resisted. We saw Drapion attempt to farm down previously in the video and it isn't happening. Jirachi fires off back-to-back Doom Desires. The opponent yet to see our third, which they're not going to see. The opponent's already had enough, and they're going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see Cradilly in the lead position. This one is the Acid variant. They still outpace us, but haven't quite got as heavy pacing advantage as they would if they're on Bullet Seed. Acid generates 4 EPT, whereas Bullet Seed is 4.33. We tank the Rock Tomb, YOLO the Outrage at -1. Still does decent damage, but then going to farm up once again, making the catch and the sneak onto Jirachi. Jirachi will now have to contend with this mid-game matchup with a -1 attack stat, and out comes Belly Bolt. Oh, this is kind of rough. A -1 Aura Spear doesn't do much of anything, and the next one's going to do even less as the opponent's about to buff up their defense, firing off the Parabolic Charge. Jirachi looking to make the best of a dire situation, going to get any damage it can. At least getting Belly Bolt below half health. Kingdra should still be able to force a knockout with the Outrage, but if they shield, this is going to get dicey as the opponent's just going to be able to fully Sucker Punch farm us down afterwards. No, why are you throwing? It's good for us, but a poor play from the opponent. They could have just Sucker Punch farm down. It's now a 2-to-1 shield Raikou versus the world. Raikou looks to overfarm. The opponent tried to make a catch onto Cradilly. Catch attempt unsuccessful. Raikou heavily overfarms. Fires off the Aura Spear. Aura Spear forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Raikou going to be removing Cradilly from the field of play. What is that third? What is that third? Oh, baby. Out comes Tentacruel. MisterAlgorithm continues to farm up. Allows the opponent to throw a Scold. Please don't debuff us. I didn't see it. Well, it's a 2x speed. But hopefully they didn't debuff us. Wild Charge. No, isn't quite lethal. Back out comes Belly Bolt. Oh my god, it's going to be Thunder Shock versus Acid. Oh, it ends in a tie. They had to have got the attack drop. How the hell did Tentacruel survive a Shadow Wild Charge? Heading into the next battle. We see another battle of water types as Shadow Kingdra stares down Gliscopod. Despite Dragon Breath being reworked this season, giving Kingdra improved pacing, if you want to land an Outrage, you essentially still get outpaced by like 99.9% of the meta. Undeterred, we tank the X's, they YOLO that Outrage, attempt to catch onto Jirachi. I'm not sure if the opponent paused there or they were lagging, but it looked like they were stuck in that animation forever. The opponent fire off the X's, which is certainly the wrong play. Whilst we are a Psychic type, we're also a Steel type, so Aqua Jet would have been more energy efficient. This is what's so good about Jirachi this season. Gaining access to Aura Spear has given it such great coverage into Dark types that are supposed to counter it. Night Slash simply doesn't cut it. Doesn't Aura Spear one shot. Much to my disappointment, it does not. We send out Kingdra. Kingdra tries to Dragon Breath farm down, unfortunately unable to get it. And it looks like it's going to be a 2-shielded Raikou versus the world. Raikou looks to Thundershock farm down Greninja's remaining HP. The opponent not wishing to concede a farm down and send out Virizion. Virizion going to be greeted with the Aura Spear. Aura Spear, heavy damage, but it looks like it doesn't quite two-shot. The opponent is below half health, but they have took a hell of a lot of Thundershock damage. I think heartbreakingly, this Aura Spear is going to get him deep into the red. But can we Thundershock farm down before the next Leaf Blade's reached? Unfortunately, we cannot. I think this comes down to whether Gliscopod was actually lagging or it was just visual. The opponent sends out Gliscopod. Raikou sees it coming in, fires off the Wild Charge. Wild Charge moves Gliscopod from the field of play, and that is going to be the final nail in this opponent's coffin. Raikou going to Thundershock farm down the remainder of the team, and we're going to take that game. Heading into some bonus battles, we're going to see a slight adjustment to the team. Kingdra has been benched, and our water type will be the former GOAT Shadow Swampert. Raikou on a slightly different moveset. We're actually opting for Volt Switch over Thundershock, that of course did get buffed this season. So do you want to opt for Volt Switch or Thundershock if you want to use Shadow Raikou? I think that's down to you. Thundershock generates slightly more energy, but Volt Switch does objectively more damage. For me personally, I'd opt for Thundershock, so I like the flexibility of a 2-turn move. I think Volt Switch is quite slow and often can be clunky. It makes it quite easy for the opponent to make catches etc. on you, like you can see here. However, I guess there's a nice opportunity to talk about the good points of using Volt Switch. Look at the fast move pressure. Corviknight is one very bulky Pokemon, and they're getting absolutely shredded by these Volt Switches. Raikou performs quite differently depending on your quick move of choice. I think it's just down to whatever your playstyle is, to be honest. If you're good with energy management, I think Thundershock's the way to go. Potentially if you're playing at a lower elo. A 4-turn move is probably nice because people are probably going to throw out potato time and you'll be sneaking fast moves left, right and centre. However, returning to the commentary, we see MisterAlgorithm invest both Protect Shields, bank a buckload of energy before sending Jirachi back into the arena. We've already established throughout today's showcase, Cresselia is god-awful here. Even when this opponent full sent the Moonblast, they simply aren't going to get the job done. Tapu Koko re-enters the arena. Doom Desire going to hit for neutral as Electric resists Steel, whereas Fairy does take super effective. Hardly anyone runs Earthquake. We've got Earthquake. I think our lose con at this point is this opponent having some mad nuke like Brave Bird. Yes, this thing learns Brave Bird. Feel free to fact check me. Thankfully, it's only a Nature's Madness. Swampert withstands the damage, reaches the Earthquake, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG to that opponent. If you made it to this point in the video, I'm sure you know I love some spice. So you want to submit some Tapu Koko battles running Brave Bird, I am down to shoutcast that. In the next battle, we led Swampert into Togekiss. We say switched into Jirachi. The opponent attempted a Doom Desire catch onto Sizzle. Catch attempt unsuccessful from the Aura Spear instantly puts them below the half health range. However, the opponents give us far too much of an energy lead, so they're going to be forced to invest a Protect Shield if they want to fight the switch. The Sizzle needs to throw as well or reach yet another Aura Spear. The opponent's counting on point, throwing on CMP. We're not on 1 HP, so we could shield. Look to force the opponent all shields down or get a choice of alignment in the back. MisterAlgorithm like, nah, we're going to load up with Raikou. Of course they get the Night Slash boost, so we're forced to shield up this incoming move. The opponent throw the Trailblaze, then send out their own Swampert. Raikou going to release the Aura Spear. Aura Spear forces the opponent's final protection, and we pivot back out into the mirror. We see the instant no shield deployed. One Hydro Cannon is survivable. The opponent continued to stay in. That looks like CMP. At this point, do we just put it all on Raikou? MisterAlgorithm instantly no shields, and that looks like his path forward. However, as we're now on the clunky Volt Switch, if the opponent catches an Aura Spear, we could be in trouble. Swampert remains on our screen. Aura Spear lands on its intended target, and that is already game over. Raikou still with a shield to hide behind. The opponent going to be unable to double up before the Wild Charges reach. Togekiss about to get vanquished back to the Shadow Realm, and we're going to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see the Battle of Water Types. By no means a good matchup for Swampert. We farm up, make a very nice Sparkling Aria catch onto Jirachi. This is neutral damage, the opponent kind of obliged to pivot out as these Psywaves are double resisted. The opponent continues to stay and they're actually able to outpace by a single turn to the next Sparkling Aria. There's 12 Psywaves to the first and only 11 to the second. It now starts to make sense why they stayed in, trying to get off some meaningful damage, and out comes a Dragon Tail Steelix, which is by no means a good response. This is only a Psychic Fangs or Breaking Swipe. Actually, definitely not a Breaking Swipe. That's now really expensive. Psychic Fangs double resisted. Simply does not cut it. We save Jirachi. Pivot back out into Swampert. Swampert fires off the Hydro Cannon, removing the annoying Steel Snake from the field of play. Out comes Guzzlord. Hardly any Swampert. Still running Earthquakes. You know what I'm thinking. Does this opponent respect the damage? Oof, they do not. And instantly get put down to round a third health. MisterAlgorithm looks like he's more than content to save both his shields for Raikou. The opponent looked for the Dragon Tail farm down, which they're unable to get, while Dragon Tail does generate more energy. The fast move pressure isn't there anymore. The opponent saving 2 shields for Lapras, but unfortunately, as we've got Volt Switch Raikou in the back, them shields will be saved for next season, which is kind of unfortunate as we're only in week 2 of this one. Heading into the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead position. I imagine we're once again going to land the Earthquake. I'd be highly surprised if we bait. I talked that into existence. This is the first bait we've thrown in like 25 minutes. However, the bait is successful. Swampert looks to reach the Earthquake. The opponent able to outpace. As we're shielded here, the opponent might actually look to 2 shield, recognising we've probably got Earthquake. There's no real point in shielding if you're just going to throw a Sludge. A Sludge is very disappointing. However, we're actually able to land the Earthquake. We send out Raikou. Raikou looks for the resisted Volt Switch farm down, unfortunately unable to get it before the Dying Brutal Swings reach. The opponent then send out Clefable, and this time we aren't messing around. We are full sending that big Hail Mary Shadow Wild Charge. Wild Charge almost picks up a 1-hit KO, leaving Clefable deep in the red health range. The opponent actually dumped their energy there as well. Throwing on CMP, we send out Jirachi. The opponent reveals they've got a double Fairy strategy and then instantly concede the match and not wanting that work. GG's to that opponent. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's shoutcast. A huge thank you to MisterAlgorithm, firstly for showcasing 3 buffed Pokemon here on the channel, but also for bringing us some very high IQ gameplay. I think it's safe to say that Shadow Raikou, every time I shoutcast it, it makes me cry a little bit inside. It's one of the few shadows I don't have. Niantic/Scopely, please bring it back to bloody Shadow Rays. Now we're able to remote into them. It's safe to say that Jirachi, without a doubt, is one of the biggest winners of the Season 24 move update. Getting a huge buff to its quick move of Confusion and gaining access to Aura Spear. You can add that on top to Doom Desire last season, also getting buffed. And now it's time for a quick story time. So when we all received the golden bottle cap, well I say when we all, if you bought the golden bottle cap with whatever it was, Go Fest last year, the Pokemon I selected to bottle cap was actually Jirachi, long before I knew the news of the Season 24 move rebalance. So you're going to see me play some Master League with Jirachi sometime soon. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.